Hi, I'm Professor Ritchey, and in this series of videos, we're going to take a deeper look at culture, specifically the components of our non-material culture. We began our study of culture with Edward T. Hall's primary message system that was the result of his questioning, where did culture begin and what was common across all cultures? We discovered that cultures began when people started to communicate on how to survive within their environments. Next, we looked at the structural functionalist perspective that helped us understand that the purpose of culture is to provide us a way of life as we meet societal needs. Culture is our rule book, and it guides us on how to become successful citizens. We charted some of the cultural elements by looking at specific survival tasks and the groups and organizations and the statuses and roles within those groups and organizations as we complete a specific survival task. When cultural patterns are accepted and expected by the citizens, they have been institutionalized, accepted and expected. We can define culture then as the totality of these institutionalized patterns that were created as society tried to survive. As we begin to explore these cultural patterns, we can look at two different aspects of culture. We can look at the material culture, which are the cultural elements that can be seen or touched. They could include our food, our buildings, our monuments, our art, the tools and utensils we use. Archaeologists study physical artifacts to infer about the lives and cultures of people in the past, and we infer symbolic meanings to our physical artifacts. How do we know that a building is a hospital or a grocery store? And when do we know that a cake is a birthday cake? And when we look at a monument, what does the monument mean to the citizens of a country? We can also explore the non-material culture. These are cultural elements that we cannot touch. They are symbolic. They are given meaning by the people of a society, and they are embedded in the language of the society. There are four components of the non-material culture that we will look at, and I'm going to briefly introduce them here, and we'll dive into them a little bit deeper in some other videos. The first is our cultural ideologies. These are determined by groups and organizations, usually religious or scientific organizations, and they help us explain our physical and social worlds. They are a series of beliefs that support the societal structures, and it also helps explain our values and norms. The second component of our non-material culture would be our values, and our values motivate our actions or our behaviors, and it helps us also to explain our behaviors and our preferences. Some values that we're going to look at are power, achievement, universalism, self-direction, and security. The third component of non-material culture that we will look at are norms. Norms are behavioral expectations that are not dependent on our statuses. Some norms might be related to hygiene norms, our traffic laws, and etiquette. And this is in contrast to what we've already talked about in terms of roles, which are behavioral expectations attached to specific statuses. For example, a mother should X, Y, and Z, a sales clerk should, and a customer should. The fourth component of non-material culture that we will look at is sanctions. These are rewards and punishments that we receive according to whether we are following or obeying the norms and roles, the behavioral expectations. These are social control mechanisms that ensure that people are conforming to our cultural patterns. So let's take a deeper look at these non-material cultures. Next up, we're going to take a deeper look at our cultural ideologies. See you soon.